I was gonna say, I lived here 17 years and my kids were teenagers, middle school, teenager at the time. And I do remember hearing about balance, but I don't remember it being like this huge thing. People feel like, oh my God, and they're also my kids bought their stuff out for this past October, and when they were here, they're like, no, they're like this. I can't be there. I know, they all right. It really is. Usually and that's like well, I mostly go and I'm going to couldn't figure that out. And I mostly go to Maryland, and they have
All right, you had people show up. That's good. That's good. If it gets warm, I'll open this, but next to the kids section is. I have kids, so I understand that, but.
There's so many meeting rooms everywhere, though, so next time you don't have to, I guess, right?
Exactly. Was everybody here last time? No?
I don't.
You was, okay. I'll give you the 5-minute speech of who I am and how this thing came to be, and not the elongated one I did the first meeting. So this is the second group meeting we've had for the eBay Nebraska Sellers Network. What is it? It's a eBay supported, sponsored event or networking group where they give a chapter leader access to eBay employees and some news and stuff that's coming out, all that kind of stuff. So, and the goal is to get people together, educate them, get feedback to eBay. If we ever have problems in here that we need to solve, I can get in touch with the eBay people directly, and better than the normal customer support that you get and stuff like that. So it's really a community to, what are sellers doing? What are their challenges? What do they like? What do they don't like? How can we help each other out? I wanted to start this chapter because I owe my career of what I do to eBay. So I don't know a whole lot about anything, but I know a lot about little things. I've always been a hustler. And I've always tried to start businesses. I've failed at 5 of them, and one of them stuck. And I was working for a car dealership that sold cars on eBay, and that's what I was introduced to eBay. They sold them on consignment, and it was just crazy to me that people would spend 30 grand on a car on eBay, and we'd ship it to them, or they'd fly in and give us a cashier's check, and I was hooked. So I just, on my days off or any spare time I had, I'd go thrifting, I'd go garage sailing, I'd go Goodwill, I'd go wherever I could to see what I could flip on eBay and make a buck. And one day I get in the car dealership and there's a box of old car key fobs, the keys that you use to get into your car, right here, like 50 of them. I asked what they're for, and he's like, I don't know cars we sold, can I have them? He said, sure, put them on eBay, made a couple $100, put it out on Craigslist, told people I'd buy their own car keys for $5 a piece. 15 years later, we sold over $100 million in car keys online, scaled to, we got 30 employees or so. So I owe my entire e-commerce career to eBay. It would have never started. It would have never started without eBay. That was a platform that got me where I am today. And so eBay have these conferences they used to have them all the time, but then they took a break called eBay Open. And I went to that one in, I guess it was last year. And I was really inspired. It was really cool. People go there, they tell their stories. It's a big community event, and just everybody there is just reminded me of when I started out. And it was like, man, I'm so inspired by that. And I want to share that story. I want to share the struggles I had with all this stuff and learn from other people. And it just, I asked, how can I start this chapter here in Omaha? And that's how this began. So my goal is to network, right? And grow this to be a big chapter. It's going to take time. It's only the second meeting. I'm glad we have people showing up, because the one thing they said, it's a newer program. They haven't had it out for very long. I think I'm guessing here, but they probably, on our phone calls, our chapter phone call, leader phone calls, there's like 30 people on them. So they don't have very many of these established yet, but they're putting resources behind them to get the message out. And it's smart. It's smart because eBay gets feedback, right? We learn from each other, and how can we sell more things, find more things to sell, and everybody wins. So the swapping stories is great. There's the eBay Open picture when I was there. So the way and these are all fluid, right? I just usually pick a topic. I'm gonna pick a topic of, this was eBay's webinar they have. Did anybody watch this by chance? So eBay just has monthly webinars that anybody can go be on. And I'll go, at the end of this, there'll be a link, and I'll share this with everybody too. But there's a link to where they show those webinars for it, and they have topics every month on different things. So I'm really in this piece right here. I am all in on AI. Every day I use it. So AI is really the big topic.
Are those recorded so you can see them after the fact? Is it just a live?
No, you can see them afterwards too. Yeah, they are recorded, so you can go back and watch them. So, there's a lot of different AI platforms. Does anybody in here use AI right now? Okay, half the room. These are the top 5, I would say. I use these two, ChatGPT and Gemini. But there's cloud that's making a huge push right now, Perplexity and Azure. They all work the same, as far as I know. People use it in a lot of different ways, and it's just really, really understanding how to use AI. And the basics for AI is, first you've got to assign it a role. So if you ever open up ChatGPT, for instance, I'm just going to use that as an example because I use that the most. And it learns about, the more you tell it, the more it knows about you, the more it remembers about you, which is scary and also cool at the same time. But when I first started using it, I was like, hey, act as a eBay expert and tell me how I should list a stuffed animal on eBay, this particular one. You can even take a picture of it and upload it there. And then it will suggest things to you. But you gotta tell it, what is it? Are you an eBay expert? Are you a stuffed animal expert? Maybe it's an eBay expert and a stuffed animal expert. But you have to give it a context of, who am I acting like? Who am I trying to be like? Adding the context again, what are you trying to achieve? I'm gonna go these because we'll cover these as we continue to go. So here's an example of the assigner role. Write a product description for me for my water bottle, right? You're an experienced eBay conversion copywriter. Write a mobile optimized product description for a 1995 insulated stainless steel water bottle targeting gym goers age 18 to 35. Focus on benefits over features. You see the difference between just trying the basic prompt you're asking it to do to really giving it the information. It's not just asking a question, give it the context. So I use this kind of feature a lot, copy and paste stuff, like for emails, for instance. There's even embedded tools now within Gmail. It says rewrite this. You write an email and you click it and it'll rewrite it for you. But you could, in theory, just do a select all, copy your entire web page of your eBay listing and say, improve this listing, and then paste it in there. And then it'll do it. It'll do some stuff. But when you give it more of the context like this, improve the listing for conversion. The product is priced 15% above competitors, and it's higher durability. Maybe it's in better condition. Target buyers who value quality over price per se. And then it'll spit that out, right? It'll spit out stuff based on that context that you put in there. And this is what's so fun about this, because the more you use AI, the more you realize these things, and the more you talk to it like it's supposed to be talked to, or how they're setting it up, how it's supposed to be talked to. So they're saying here with the iterate, high performers iterate fast after the first output try. So usually the first response isn't the response you're going to use. When AI gives you an answer, it gives you something. Sometimes it'll ask for more information. Sometimes it comes out and you're like, oh, I didn't think of this, right? So make it more premium. Cut the image you just created by different size, make it a different size. Optimize it for mobile scanning, it says here. This is huge right here, SEO keywords, right? You gotta show up on eBay before you're actually gonna buy something. So, make sure this is optimized, both title, description, pictures, to be a top search result for my listing, right? And then it'll go look at different pages. It'll even crawl eBay's site and look for similar things. That's more context here. Crawl eBay's site for similar items that I'm about to sell. Here's what differentiates mine. How do I communicate that to make sure it becomes a top search result and it sells? Okay, so structure, it's saying better thinking, help me improve this. So too vague, right? AI is going to give you an answer. If you just say, help me improve this listing and paste it in there, it's going to help you. It's going to help you better though if you say in a different way. This is the same thing. You're just saying, give me what's weak about it, what's strong about it, what are the keywords it's already optimized for, what am I missing? If my target audience is a big one, right? I mean, if this is going back to data, and when for me, it's a big thing that I have to learn in my business is to run your business off of data. And if you know that the people that buy the stuffed animals are ages 35 to 60, and they're mostly male, tell it. Write this ad copy that will be optimized for a male between 35 and 50 that is the target audience perspective. And it will gear everything towards that. And the more you use it, the more it learns your writing style, and the more you adapt to what you're supposed to say to this too. I've been using AI now for probably regularly 6 months. And it's from what I used to use it to what I use it for now is night and day difference. The way I talk to it, the way it responds to me, all of that stuff is so different. Another example, rewrite a prompt. So you can ask it to write a prompt is what the instruction you're giving AI. So that's what a prompt is. you can ask AI to write a prompt so it will do what you want it to do better. So that's what this is what it's telling you. It's saying rewrite my prompt to make it more strategic and detailed. So if you were just putting in, I want to improve my listing for this item, I'm attaching it. Now give me a prompt that will allow me to create this listing to sell to whoever. And then it'll spit back out, here's what you need to tell me, and you just copy paste it, or it'll end up saying, do you want me to execute this prompt? And you just do it. So AI, again, it's all based on how you use it. A lot of different ways. Explore strategic opportunities, ideas for if you have past sales data, and you don't have to, there's a lot of this you just upload to it. You don't have to analyze it yourself. You can, in eBay, you can download your sales history, you can download a lot of data there, and you can put it in here, and it'll analyze your whole eBay account for you. It'll say, well, you're selling most in this category. Your best conversion rate is over here. Like, it'll tell you all of this stuff if you just give it the data. Which then lets you, what should I be buying, right? It's hard for us because we're working in it every day. And you're like, man, I think I'm selling a lot of sterling silver right now. But if you look at a year's time or something like that, you might have only sold $400 worth of sterling silver and $4,000 worth of stuffed animals, right? But you're in the moment of this sterling silver thing, right? So data and inventory planning is a huge thing for this thing. But knowing what you're selling, what you're being successful in, and letting the numbers prove it. And that you can be your think partner and strategic partner with that. Creating promotions, like it can automate and create promotions. Like, say I'm listing this item and I want to sell it within this time frame. What's the best strategy to get this using sales and promotion that eBay provides? Not the exact words you're going to use, but the gist is you can use it to help you plan that calendar, and it'll remind you too. It'll say, send me a reminder on this day to make sure I do this. And it becomes your assistant, your virtual assistant. This is part of that whole, if you give it its sales histories and stuff like that, it'll know, like if you're posting, this was a great topic last time we had this meeting. Consistency was one of the topics. Like, you consistently putting up inventory, eBay likes that. And your account and your listings are gonna get higher priority in their algorithm. I don't know that for sure, eBay, I don't, but I'm sure eBay likes people that post more stuff frequently. And that can be part of this forecasting your revenue. Like it knows when these listings it's going to be able to tell you that you're posting this much, that you have this many end date, that you have this many doing this and that, and what's your pattern. Maybe it'll give you suggestions on, well, if you increase your posting, it's going to forecast that you'll get this much more revenue. And maybe it'll even tell you can even get further down the line. I get so excited about this because you can get on rabbit holes of this stuff. Like, you could go on forever and not even execute anything because you're just like, oh my God, well, what category should I then, what's my best category that I can start doing this in, and go. But eventually you have to take action to do something. And it just creating a focused growth plan, right? A target. What am I trying to hit for the next month? What am I trying to hit for the next quarter? What am I trying to hit for the next 6 months? So all of that, it's a great strategic think partner. One of the things I use it for, and there might be a slide for this, I'm getting ahead of myself. So I told AI my age, my family, my kids, what I like, what I don't like, what I've done for jobs, where I'm at. It knows all the businesses and real estate I own. The more it knows about me, the more it knows. It just learns how to talk and put things into my perspective. It becomes an extension of you. And I've told it all the story I told you, right? Like I've been an entrepreneur, told it that entire story. Right, where I'm located. I always update stuff like my numbers to it. So it knows where I'm at financially. It knows where I'm at stat-wise with number of listings and number of products I have for sale. It knows all of that stuff. And again, this is for me because this is my full-time gig, right? Like I'm an e-commerce person. I know some people in here, this isn't your full-time gig. But if you're wanting to really understand this eBay journey and you're wanting to take it somewhere, this is stuff that in the future you should do. It's just going to set you up for success. I tell what my goals are done by. Review. This is one that gets overlooked, using AI to help source products. It can look out on different channels if you set it up the right way. This is a bad example because I don't think anybody uses Craigslist anymore, but back in the day in Craigslist, I had a screen scraper that would, anything, like if somebody listed a key fob, I would get an email right away, right? And maybe other people have used that kind of stuff before, where if you got a certain item listed, and I could set it in a 50-mile or a 70-mile or a 100-mile radius or wherever I want to go, so I didn't have to ship, I could drive and get it or whatever. So AI can be that sourcing partner too. Where's a great place to look at this? Are there any upcoming estate sales that I haven't seen? I mean, it's so crazy what it can do. It's amazing. Any questions? I'll stop there. There's a lot of information all over the place, but AI, like I said, for me, it can be a big rabbit hole thing, and you got to execute at some point. But even just starting basic by asking it to review listing. Can you help me revise this title or this description or something like that? I think that's a really basic start. But any questions?
Do you just go on these sites and then just register and
You don't have,
follow what it's telling you to do then?
yeah, you don't have to register. You don't have to sign. I mean, it's more powerful if you do because it keeps your data, right? Which again is scary.
Right.
That's when it's learning about you. That's when the more you tell it. If you don't do that, it's say, oh, put this in this. If you guys use ChatGPT specifically, you need to go into the settings. It's like in the bottom left-hand side, under settings, there's a security setting in there that says, don't share mine for other learning models outside of mine. And people don't do that. And it's you're allowing it to give whatever you talk to it to other people. And I'm sure the other platforms have that too, but just make sure you get that privacy setting checked right away.
Okay, so my husband has to pay ChatGPT and then he made me like a filter on it to use. Is it gonna recognize me as a different person than him, or is it just gonna be all mixed together?
It's a good question. I'm sure it would if you specifically tell it, hey, this is
Okay.
JJ talking, or this is,
Maybe,
Stephanie talking.
Maybe, because I had ChatGPT also, the paid version, and I asked it one time if it would remember stuff from other threads, because I needed it really. So, sorry, I don't remember the details, maybe it was more than that, but, so I don't know.
I'm not 100% sure. I think I would just guess that it has the ability to differentiate that, but
Could have been updated too.
There's a
so I
lot.
asked.
Look, there's a lot. There's ways to think about AI too. Is it's like it's an 8-year-old. right? It's the smartest 8-year-old you've ever seen. One of the best quotes I heard at a speaking gig, some really rich guy was saying, he's like, AI is crazy. He's like, but AI should not stand for artificial intelligence. It should stand for access to unlimited information. It's the encyclopedia on steroids, right? And it's not even just encyclopedias, it's medical journals, it's this, it's that. It's instant access to any encyclopedia, any information that was available back in the day when we had encyclopedias, right? And it's instant. But every encyclopedia is different. They write them contextually different. People understand them differently. And this is the challenge with AI. What I don't like about AI is that it's very positive and like, oh, that's a great insight, JJ. I didn't think of that, right? Like, no, like there's things that are wrong and you should just say wrong and not just always, you're spot on. I'm glad you caught that. My fault. But where was I going with that? So I don't know what I would love, and because we have I do the paid version of ChatGPT also, but we do the enterprise business for Gemini for my business, and I tried to, because you can export your ChatGPT history and upload it to a different platform, but the professional version doesn't let you do it with Gemini. There's like legal loopholes behind it. Because what I envision a corporate AI system is that you have real employees and you have their AI version employees, right? And then my AI version can talk to Stephanie's AI version and do things without us actually having to talk. It's crazy. But that's the future. The future is train. They call them AI bots, right? You write these little, I'll call it a square, right? AI, then you have bots.
So does that mean in 100 years? It'll just be
Really big eyes.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting because it's in 2 years it'll be 16 years. Like it's growing fast. And 2 years from that it'll be 40 or 50-year-old version of AI. So these next like 5 years of what AI becomes, it's either going to be really awesome or it's going to be Terminator. You know, it's going to take over the world kind of situation. Not kidding, but you know, it's just there's a lot to think about with that. So
You do have to be careful though. I'm finding with I don't only use ChatGPT, so I don't know about the other ones, but I catch it lying quite a bit. Quite a bit.
yeah,
Just making stuff up.
hallucination is the term they have for that in AI. It's called hallucinations.
How do those 6 that you mentioned compare to just like the AI in Google Lens? Because I found that same problem. It'll get 90% of the stuff really good and
Yeah.
think of things that I didn't think of, but then it'll also tell you some stuff that is just absolutely flat out wrong.
Yeah,
And you tell it, it's, oh, well, I was optimizing for speed instead of accuracy. You need to tell me to optimize for accuracy, and you do that like 10 times and it's still making the exact same mistakes.
yeah. I think that goes back to when you sign in and you use it consistently. You're teaching it. It's your kid, right? You're teaching it how you want it, and you're telling it when it's wrong, and then it knows that it's wrong, and it learned that it was wrong. But when you're using these randomly and not being able to save that information, it's an infant again, right? So it doesn't know the things you've taught it before.
And that's what you get from having an account with one of them.
Yeah, I think so.
Keep
Yeah,
going.
that's my opinion. I'm not 100% sure, but I think by having, and you don't have to pay for the account. They free versions of this stuff, but you do that setting with the whole don't share with outside people.
A summary of a book and it was just completely making up characters. So
That's what I'm saying. It's hallucination.
plot line.
It's really
Writing its own book.
it's improved, but it really did a lot of hallucinations on Like, I mean, you could give it an Excel spreadsheet where you figure out some stuff yourself by clicking and dragging, and you'd ask it to do it and it'd make up numbers. Like it just, but it's gotten better and it's gonna continue to get better.
If it has false information, is that because people put in false information or?
Yes, probably. I mean, some of that is it, but some of it, it's just, it doesn't understand what you're asking. There is a lot of, it's like media, right? There's a lot of different versions of stories, news stories that come up. Even in today's world, you don't know what's true and what's not true from the media. How does it know? Because it's going to those same sources. Same related story, same keywords, but it's got a story over here that says this version of it, the right and then the left and then the red and the blues.
Right.
Who knows, right?
I know when I go into Wikipedia and sometimes ask Wikipedia a question, an AI box will pop up and it'll have 3 or 4 or 5 responses to my question, and it's nothing to do with what I was asking, but it pops up though anyway.
Yeah, it's learning from you. I mean, it really is.
Yeah.
Ultimately, it's learning from every question that comes on. Everything is learned. Recent tangent, but there was an article I read this week on how a car rental company used AI, and it used it with those agents, employees, and it backup. But the recent backup was 3 months ago. So they all the car rental like stuff that happened from the last 3 months. And they went in, the data scientists went in and asked it, why did you do it? And this is what's scary. I'm not sure why, but I did directly disobey what you set me up to do. It literally admitted that it was wrong and it shouldn't have done it, and it apologized, but it did it anyway.
Absolutely right. I was not so good. Good catch.
Right? Sorry about your customers last 3 months of the
Like your 8-year-old, it'll do it once.
Yeah, right? But that's scary, man. I mean, think about that. That's a car rental company who had 3 months of bookings that are gone. Think of all their customers, right? But they had, what's even crazier though is you go down this chain, it's like they had security things in place, but it had access to those security things and just overrode it all. So that's, again, the whole, I don't know how true it is either, right? Maybe it's not a true story. Maybe it is a true story. I don't know. But it can be scary.
It's almost like that computer in 2001 that took over the whole thing. And it's like, we want to go here, and it's saying, no, whatever his name was, we're going to go here whether you like it or not.
War Games, was that the name of the movie?
No, it's called 2001. They were going to the moon or somewhere in space, I don't remember. And the computer took over the whole ship after they were out in space.
Alien.
No.
Alien did that.
Oh, the
computer.
Yeah.
This is me and my conspiracy theory side. It's like all these movie things, the Star Trek and the walking the phones and seeing people on a screen and talking to them, like all that
Well,
stuff
this came out,
true.
I think in the 70s or 80s. Yeah.
But AI, going back to AI, I strongly, it's a think partner. That's how I think of it. It is literally another version of me, and I have a conversation with it about how should I run my business? How should I do this specific task? If I'm trying to accomplish this goal, how should I set it up? There's just so many different ways you can use it, and it just depends on how you talk to it. Any other questions on AI? All right, so we talked about eBay stores, and last meeting we had some comments about eBay stores and stuff like that. And in that webinar, they briefly touched on stores. I don't have fancy graphics or anything on here, but just bullet points. One of the things they were saying about stores in general is when you set up your store, think about as you're building your brand. If you're going to set up a store, and this is a great way to use AI right here. I need to build it, act as an expert brand storyteller that has executed brand stories for 5 Fortune 500 companies in the last 3 years. and I want to build a brand based off of what I am. I want to create a brand story for my eBay store. What information do you need from me to be able to write this? And then it'll go through and it'll tell you. And when they say showcase the story, right? Can because you can upload videos, you can upload images, stuff like that. Then it's just relatable to that brand story on your store. Like people, you guys mentioned this in the last meeting, people buy from people, right? And that store is an extension of you guys. And how can you do that in a digital world? And it's through this. I must have stopped typing there. Organize and highlight inventory. So just organizing the store. This is impossible. Like I've tried this so many times, and actually, this is an exercise I need to do with AI for my eBay store. How do you organize your brand when you have so many different items? Like how do you organize it so people can shop in an organized way, right? I mean, grocery stores are set up, canned chips, that kind of stuff. How can you do that with your store so people can shop in a logical way? But eBay allows you to do that by creating your own custom store categories and then putting stuff in there. Another AI, I think I could use that. It's easy for building relationships with buyers. I got this from, I think, the last meeting too. I never used the newsletters or the coupons or anything like that on my eBay store, but I did after I left the last meeting. And I had like a 30% boost for 2 weeks. I just did a 5%. Hey guys, and I had AI help me write it. Just people that have engaged before saying, glad you purchased from us in the past. Do you need another key? Do you have another different vehicle? Is there somebody else that needs a new key for your car? And I had a huge boost in sales. I also set up an automatic, because I didn't realize I had like 4,000 or 5,000 people that are subscribed to my store or whatever. And you can create an automatic message for when somebody subscribes to your store in there. And when I did that, and I had AI help for subscribing, really appreciate it. Here's what our mission is. Here's what we're trying to do here. Instant sales touch points. And then you have the option to send out, we got some new products here. It's more work. It obviously is more work, but it works. I'm a living example. I think I have a fairly big audience that I could reach with 4,000 or 5,000 people that subscribe to the store per se, but it still was a huge lift. And it maybe took 10 minutes with AI. It's just consistently doing. What is that schedule now that I want to do for that? And do I want to do it by category? Maybe I'll just do it 8 Chevrolets this month or something like that, right? But part of building that brand is then creating the memorable experience. It seems like all these things can be automated, especially if you're a store that sells a whole bunch of different things. It's important that to get those customers back, you've got to give them the experience. That's amazing. But there's a God, I wish I could put the right words to this. In my key business, I have a huge opportunity to make more revenue. This is just for my direct website sales, right? 98% of the customers that buy a key fob from me are one-off customers. It's a need-based product. I lost my key. I'm going to search. They're going to Google. They're going to find it. They're going to buy it. Bam. We have a really good opportunity because we do really good at then upselling them a protection plan, batteries, maybe at the time of sale. We don't do anything. And after purchase, if you communicate it the right way. I used AI to do, it told me, then make sure you take care of them during the purchase process. Did you get it? Did you get a program? That's great. But then after 30 days, you go into this email flow of, hey, you have a household usually has 2.4 cars. You need to keep the car. And it said you can expect a lift of up to 25% more revenue, your annual revenue, by just doing that, by creating this flow. And that's the same thing with eBay. eBay has those tools. I think there's some automation and nurture them. They're going to come back and make, after they make relationship with their customers. Q&A on that stuff. The eBay stores, any questions? So store. Great campaign. So I went to stores, newsletter, as what do you want to do? New products and collection, coupon, sales net, order discount, volume pricing. So if I click coupon, I know there's some filters, view eligible items, so you can pick what the items are. You can select recipients. These are your options. Most recent buyers in the last 3 days. So here's your options to choose from at this point. It's not actual, here's the buyers you can select, but at least a group or target.
And if you forget how to do all this, you can ask ChatGPT.
It's true. Very
I
true.
ask ChatGPT
Very
about everything.
Yeah, very true.
It's like my best friend. Talk to you about everything.
But I highly recommend you do that. Again, this is just part of that whole, for me, building a brand story, building consistent communication. Oh, I wanted to show you what AI spit out for, let's see if I can show you what that looks like. Really
Control plus. It's with the equal sign.
It's just, how cool is that to receive that right after you visit somebody's store, right? Powerful tools that you wouldn't think have an impact, but they do. Okay. Any other store questions?
Well, that last line just kind of says like, you're the most important person in the world. Really.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you want people to feel, right?
Yeah.
You want to make a connection with somebody. Sales isn't just about, like, especially, it's a relationship, you're starting a relationship with someone. That's how you have to think about it from a seller perspective, right? It's your first date. Okay, round robin time. Anybody want to, should we do that? Anything? Yeah? Well, I'm JJ, Keyless Entry Remote. It's my eBay store. I sell key fobs. I've been selling on eBay. The key fob business incorporated in 2011. I probably think my store opened in 90 or so. And I want to learn from you guys. I mean, it's the networking, it's listening to what you guys do. It's helped getting me experience speaking with people. I really enjoy sharing knowledge, or I hope it helps people. I really, really enjoy it, so. Either one.
Actually, my money is probably 2001 is when I started to make business, got a store and everything. I sell a lot of things, not everything. But recently I've been getting into kids DVDs. I heard that was like a category that can be good if you bundle them. And I'm passionate about kids and resources that they need. And I found some this month that were sealed. They were very old DVDs and they were sealed, and they sold in 5 minutes for a set of 6 for $80. So, they can be good. And I just want to network with people that want to learn what Omaha eBay sellers are doing. I think that's fun.
Is this a part-time or a full-time gig?
This is very part-time. I'm a full-time stay-at-home mom, homeschool mom. This is just something like I'm trying to grow very gradually, and I figure as my kids leave, it will just take over more and more of my life.
Keep you a little sane.
Yeah,
My name is Jenna. I've been selling on eBay since 2001, and I've gone back and forth over the years, part-time, full-time, just as things have changed. But I've been full-time probably for the last maybe 10 years. And I sell everything. If it's not nailed down, I'll sell it. There are things I hate selling, and I won't, but I could. And I just, even though I've been doing this full time, I used to have a house sitting business, a house and pet sitting business. So even though I was doing eBay full time, I still had another income stream. So I want this, I want to get more serious about scaling up, I guess, I've always just kind of like, I'm just trying some stuff on eBay, and, and it's worked, I've made money, but I'd like to be a little more intentional about it.
For me to stay at home with my kids, and so yeah, I work when they're at school, and then I don't work, and summers I barely work. And when I look together this group, it's just nice.
Since about 2005, so $12,000 worth of stuff. Some of it I lost because it was very old stuff and it had no value. I'll sell whatever I want to get rid of in the house, really. And what I want to get out of the group is try to get some new ideas to try to get rid of other things that I have that I've sold. I mean, one thing I sold years ago was a deck of bubblegum cards of photographers. And I had the whole set, and it paid for a trip for me, my wife, and my son to San Francisco for a week.
Nice.
Wow.
Nice.
I mean, I think we got about $1,300, and the trip cost $1,400. So I figured I could afford $100. I mean, I don't have any of the money I made on it, but I mean, that I loved, because we had a nice vacation. It was years ago when things were a lot less expensive too.
Yeah.
So,
What do you like to get out of the group?
just some new ideas of trying to get things moving again. I think what I heard tonight, I'm going to try, and it may help.
Yeah. Good.
I mean, I looked at this, I have nothing to lose.
Yeah.
Everything they
Some
gave.
time maybe, but yeah, learning some stuff.
I mean, well, my wife loves it because I'm not home all the time. This way I can get out of the house a little bit.
I need to talk to my dad. I keep telling him the same thing. Get out of the
Well,
house.
I work 2 days a week at Hy-Vee And her attitude is, thank God I can sleep later those 2 days.
All right. Thank you.
I'm Jason Rice. I've been selling on eBay for 10 months now. I sell a lot of clothes. I started basically with like t-shirts and dress shirts and hoodies and jackets. I do toys, vintage stuff, home goods and decor. It's pretty much anything. Had pretty good luck. There's a place called Echo Thrift
Oh, I love that spot.
that I've done pretty well with some of the stuff that I've got. And it's nice because it's brand new.
Yeah.
And it seems to go pretty good. What I want to get out of this group is I want to get to a point where I'm doing this full time. I just see absolute immense potential. It's hard. I really feel like if I quit my job today, I could probably get to a point where I'm replacing my income within about 6 months if I just. But the way it is now, I don't have that much time to.
Yeah.
It's hard, and it feels like at this rate, it's going to take me years and years to get to that point. So, trying to learn as many tricks and shortcuts as I can to speed up the process a bit.
Yeah, good. For me, I mean, I was in the same boat, right? Like I was always just looking for more financial freedom. Like that's what I was always hustling, but all the bar business, the travel agency business, the construction business, all that business has failed for me. For me, I was able to do it part-time and save up enough money. And at the time it was like 10 grand for me, which might as well have been $1 million. I never had $10,000 before in my life. Right. And then I had that conversation with my wife of like, I think with this money we have now, it's worth it. It's worth trying that step of quitting the job and going full force. She luckily was a breadwinner. She's a nurse and she had making more money. So we had that to fall back on. If for some reason I fall on my face again. But that for me, I had those same thoughts, but it was a financial one that made me be able to take that leap, was having enough money and show that I was like for 3 or 4 months, I was consistently making $3,000 or $2,500, $2,000, then it went to $2,500, then it went to $3,000 or whatever that number was, to where I had inventory up for sale, but also had an extra $10,000 in my account to use. And that helped me make that decision. So for what that's worth. Who are you?
I'm Stephanie. I listed one thing since our last meeting on my eBay shop.
Your first
my
listing?
first listing, yes. It's a little hutch that I have. So progress. It sounds really intriguing. Everyone's making these monies, finding their little niches. So I'm just really needing to focus and finding the time to do it. I think that's the struggle. I have a 6-year-old at home, so that really takes up most of my time. And then by the time he goes to bed, I'm really tired, and I'm like, all right. But once I make that step, I'm sure I'll be right there with you guys trying to figure out what next to sell. So.
Oh, but you work for me full time.
Well, and that too. And he takes up the majority of that too.
So
6-year-old doesn't work, so. But.
Sounds like you might lose her to 80.
Yeah.
Watch out, right?
Hey, you remember this though, during the interview, I was like, I would love it if for someday, like you'll get a PhD in entrepreneurship if you come hang out with me.
Well,
That's the
you're
biggest
here.
danger of having somebody work for you. As soon as they see what you're doing, they want to like,
Let's do it.
bye, let's do this. This is cool.
It's scary, I think, and I had that fear for the longest time. People were just gonna copy this. But there's a lot, for my particular space, there's a lot of technical and like, it's hard to replicate at scale. So, I mean, you might be able to do it and make a decent money, but it's not gonna affect the scale we got to, so.
Yeah, it's not so much that I would worry about that, it's more that, oh man, now I gotta look for somebody again, dang it. I gotta train them, I gotta.
Yeah. That process.
Yeah.
That's.
Yes, I know, believe me, that's the hardest part of owning business. It's employees. So, but it's also the most gratifying. It's why I do what I do anymore. It's just to, I hope she goes and has a multi-million-dollar eBay store somewhere. That's the ultimate goal. I've always told people that work for me that if they go find a better job because of the experience they had, that they're gonna make more money and do something else. I did something right. Right? It's gonna suck, but great. Online can probably go.
Say bye.
But they need to, what do they need to do?
Nothing. They do not qualify.
Okay, never mind that. Peace.